Hey y'all, I'm back with another message, okay? Another channel message. I'm getting this download that a lot of people are not good at manifesting because they don't believe they're worthy. It's not that they can't say what it is they want to desire, but it's like they don't feel like they're worthy of it because of all of their past and the people in their ear, all these external thoughts, and even their internal world may be crazy too, the shit they say to themselves. And it's like they feel like, oh, I can't get what I want because of so and so and da da da. And I feel like it's just even me trying to get this message out, it's like me going back and forth. It's like me trying to fighting against what's the truth. And like also what you want is like, just because you may have had a rough past, you may have been like toxic in the past. Okay, so me, I'll talk about me. I don't care. God gonna use me one way or another. When I became a therapist, I had people in my life say, "Oh, you're a toxic therapist. How could you be a therapist? You were so toxic. You did this, that, and the third in the relationships, da da." And and sure enough, did. I did all of that stuff. I've owned all that shit. I was accountable and was like, yeah, I did all that shit. Yep. Fighting people, reckless. Like, not to say that it was okay, but I've accepted the fact that I've done that. So no one can use anything I've done in my past against me. They could try to use it to hurt me, to break me, to shade me. But I've done it already. And I've accepted it. A lot of people don't be wanting to accept their past and accept these bad behaviors about them because they don't want to seem like a certain type of person, especially when you're moving towards your light and you're getting out of your shadow, you have your ego death, and you're just like you're ready to walk that path with God, right? And they don't want to really look behind them, so they kind of avoid it altogether. And it's like, that's not how this shit works. You have to own it, not attach to it, but own these behaviors, these thoughts, these patterns, whether yours or somebody else's, that you've claimed and you've allowed to be a part of your life for however long. You have to acknowledge it. You don't have to attach it, but acknowledge it and let it go. Like, yeah, I did all that. I did. And now I don't do that. Like, yeah, I asked God. I remember I prayed. I was like, God, use me, stretch me, okay? Show me your way. Because I was so tired of getting in my own way, doing things my way. And when I became a therapist, I was like, oh God, you really trying to be funny, because I never wanted to go into the mental health field. I literally avoided it by all costs because I just come from a family that, like, they all need to go see the lady. And I'm like, why don't they go see the lady? And if they can convince me that it works, then I might consider being a therapist. But prior to becoming a therapist, I was in therapy for years, unpacking things, figuring out my anger, all these different things. Like, even was in therapy. I just stopped in January. So like, still go to therapy periodically, okay? Because therapy works. Okay, whatever works for you, whatever's your therapy. Okay, I go talk to a lady from time to time, you know, because that's what works for me in my life. But a lot of people don't want to go to therapy or want to go do the work because they don't want to admit they're wrong. They don't want to admit they fucked up. They don't want to sit in that. And you don't have to sit in it. You just have to acknowledge it. And maybe you might have to sit in it and say, okay, all right, this is me, and weep and cry and maybe ask for forgiveness. And, whatever it is you got to do to cleanse yourself of that so God can make you over. Because that's not the end all be all. Some of the people with the darkest paths have the most beautiful stories, especially those who are able to get out of it and share their light with the world. Like your story, your gifts, like being able to share that after being so broken down, okay? Chopped up, chewed up by world, by life, by jobs, by partners, by families, by friends, to still decide to wake up and breathe and embrace the new day, the new world. Like, come on. Everybody can't do that. A lot of people are literally reliving their past day after day after day. I don't really want to be with this person. He didn't really understand me. She didn't really get me. My family's so toxic. Every time I go there, they always doing this and always doing that. But you feel like you gotta keep going and engaging in that behavior, engaging in those energies. Like you can't go make your own family. Like you can't go choose your own family. Like you can't choose your friends. Oh, this is my friend since 20 years. I've known them forever. They know all my secrets. They know all these things about me. Yeah, and they won't let you go. They're getting in the way of you actually being a better version of yourself because they keep holding these things over your head. They keep bringing you back to the stuff that broke you. I had a friend one time, and I had just got a really bad abusive relationship. Like, I thank God every day that I made it out alive, because I was really playing with my life being in that relationship, right? Because God definitely told me 1 year in to let it go, but nope. My ego was very loud. I didn't want to be alone. I was in a state that I had a lot of friends. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of friends, but I wanted a partner. I wanted to have that. That's what I wanted. So I stayed there, regardless of how it looked. So I was like, this is what I want. I'm going to make it look great and feel great and let it be everything I want it to be, because this is what I want. This is my desire right now. Even though it didn't really fit the blueprint, I just made it fit. Okay. And I remember I was leaving that relationship, and I had a close girlfriend who I still miss to this day, but I allowed the relationship to expire. It is what it is. And I remember, it's been like months. I had moved back to my hometown, and she was around at the tail end of this relationship ending, like FaceTiming, seeing this person be like really irate and crazy. Like, she's seen a lot of the toxic chaos. And I remember she just like kept bringing it up, finding little like funny ways to bring it up, and I'm just like, okay, we're Black. We're like, it's a thing to kind of like make jokes of your trauma or whatever. Like, that's the thing that we do, right? And I wouldn't say that's a Black thing. I would say that that's a thing that people do. And when they don't want to deal with their trauma, they kind of make jokes in light of it. And I was just like, bro, you keep bringing this up, and it's like, I'm not in that space no more. Like, you just keep bringing it up, and I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like, you a little too connected to this story. We rewrite a new story. Like, that's of the past. Because this is like around the time like I was really moving out of it, and I wasn't avoiding it. I was definitely dealing with it, but I was finding my way out of it, and like, reprogram myself, like, what, I'm not going to beat myself up because I was in yet another toxic relationship. I'm not going to call myself all these names because I was in another toxic relationship, a relationship that didn't work. Like, is like, I'm responsible for the parts I'm responsible for, and I've owned that. And I'm like, what, I got some work to do. I got to work on me. But I didn't want to keep going back there, and I feel like she wanted to keep bringing me into that. I know it's something with our connection is just like, she was so rooted in my past, whatever I did wrong, it was just like, so that's where the commentary come from. But I feel like she did love me deeply, not to be like that, but it's just like, I just outgrown what the relationship had to offer, and I just had to walk away, because things also, once I got pregnant, things got weird. But that's a whole nother shebang. It's just, you ask God to show you people, show you who's here for you, and that Rico sweep comes in, okay? People are leaving left and right, out of sight. Like, dang, I was even done having fun with my toxic people, and they're gone. So pray that prayer. It's like, God, remove all these things, place few things in my life. Okay? Have your last hurrah. Because I always say that prayer before I have my last hurrah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to go to the movies. We supposed to go get drinks. And it's like, nah, God's like, nah, you're not doing that. I'm not even about to have you around that. Like, it's a dub. I'm removing you. Like, say goodbye, and say goodbye with love. You can let people go with love, forgive people in a loving way. It doesn't have to always be harsh and brutally dog them out. It's like, I've had plenty of friends relationships that have went south, and it's like, I'm not going to dog that out. I would, my younger self, my immature self definitely would, but now I'm like, I'll let y'all go with love. I'm thankful for the lessons, the blessings, the things y'all brought into my life, how we may have poured into each other, whether I overpoured, underpoured, whatever you taught me. I'm grateful for those lessons, that wisdom. I'm going to take it, and I'm out. Okay? And that brings me to the conclusion of this message. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay? Don't be afraid to choose yourself for once. Don't be afraid to choose yourself for once. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's all I have for now, y'all. Until later. Peace.